We're going to jump right into it. Our first speaker of the day, coming all the way over from London. She is a designer at a tech company in London. She has amassed over 30,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel, which is where she discusses and talks about creativity and design and professionalism within those things. She also has a podcast called Design Life, and she's here to talk with you about some really awesome things. So would you please welcome to the stage Charlie Prangley.
Well done, not a design agency.
All right.
Cool. Is the mic working? Can you hear me? Yeah. Cool. I can hear me too. This is weird. So thank you for that introduction, Corey. Like you said, I'm a designer. That's how I describe myself first and foremost. But I also, as well as designing, really enjoy talking about design. So anytime I'm not designing, I'm pretty much doing that, either on the podcast or on YouTube. But YouTube, if this is going to work, yes, that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to get a feel for where everyone's at with YouTube, though. So can I make you put your hand up if you have a YouTube channel and you put videos up on it regularly? Okay. And what about if you're wanting to be in that position, if that's something you want to do? Okay, good. There's a few more hands there. So that's what I'm going to help you with today. This is my YouTube channel. I call it Charlie Marie TV, and I started it in 2013. Like I do before embarking on most projects, before I started this, I did a lot of research. And I was joining YouTube rather than just making videos in general because of the community aspect of YouTube. I just wanted to be a part of that. It seemed like it was really fun. Everyone was being creative, making things, and making new friends as well. Like I'm sure some of you would have found before joining the Sean Wes community, when you join a new community, you want to fit in, right? And you want to learn all those unspoken rules so that you can get off to a really good start. So that's what I did with YouTube. I learned about SEO, I learned about filming, about editing, about how YouTubers make money, how to make a good thumbnail and get views and all that sort of stuff. And I wanted to be prepared and, get my channel off to the best start and make the time that I was putting into it worth it. It seems to have gone well. Oh, what have I done? It's not gone well. Oh, okay. Well, just look at that one instead. 3 years later, this is where I'm at. I've got nearly 33,000 subscribers now, which is really exciting. I upload every single week on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And as you can see, my growth hasn't been a viral success. There's not like huge spikes here and there. It's just been steadily growing over time. I've been consistent with my videos, and so my growth has been as well. So what I learned from all of that research that I was doing, before I started about all those fine details, really what it comes down to is consistency is key for building an audience. Let's talk about this word here for a bit. Apart from building an audience, why is it something you should aim for? Like, why does it really matter? It gets thrown around a lot, Well, consistency means things are ordered and they're regular. And when you're using videos as content marketing, which I'm sure a lot of you here, that might be something you're interested in doing for products or courses or whatever, consistency makes you seem reliable and it builds trust. And it doesn't only help you build an audience, but it helps you build a loyal audience, which is obviously something very good to aim for. So it all sounds well and good, right? But how do you do it? What actually goes into it? I've broken it down into 3 main factors that I want to talk to you about today. The first one is probably the most obvious one, and that is your schedule. So that's when you upload videos and when you give your audience fresh new content. But consistency isn't actually just about the timing. It is also about the quality of your videos, not only in production value, but the quality of information within them too. And then to round off this diagram here that I've done, topics. Consistency in topics lets your audience know what to expect, and it helps you become a go-to source on a certain thing, becoming an expert like Kyle was talking about yesterday. Now, success on YouTube and with making videos improves the more you can fill of these 3 bubbles here, and it's about finding a balance. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's balancing the 3 in a way that works for you. Lacking one completely, though, can really hurt your overall consistency. For example, if your videos all go up on a certain time, they're always about consistent topics, but maybe to meet that schedule you've set for yourself, you have to take shortcuts so the quality level comes down a bit. You're going to find it hard to keep people coming back to watch more videos because it's not going to be worth their time. And you have to make your videos worth someone's time. So they're not going to come back for all these new videos you're putting out regularly, so there's no point. But I'm afraid that quality over quantity is also not really a thing on YouTube. Normally it is, but not here. If you're making really great videos and they're like absolutely perfect, but they're very sporadic, maybe there's one every 2 months, then there's a 3-month gap or whatever, your audience is going to be coming back and checking your channel and finding nothing new there, and that's going to be like breaking their trust in you in a way, which is not good. So true consistency is really about the balance of all of these three things. Excuse me. This balance is going to be different for everyone, and it's about finding the balance that works best for you. But this is what it takes to build an audience. I'm going to go through each of these three things and tell you how they've affected me, like my approach to them, and then give you some advice for achieving them yourself. So first of all, the schedule. My YouTube schedule is something that I live and breathe by, I feel. In 3 years, I have never missed a single week of a video upload. Thank you. For most of that time, I've been, apart from a 6-month break actually, I uploaded just 1 a week, but for most of that time, I've done 2 a week. This is my upload days. I upload every Tuesday and Saturday. I chose Saturday because most of my audience is either at university or at work, so weekends is a really good time for them to, be checking their subscription feed. And then Tuesdays just because it's sort of in the middle, so it means there's something fresh coming out every 3 or 4 days. There's no such thing really as a perfect YouTube schedule. Like, it's going to be different for you and your audience to find something that works because YouTube is global, so people could be watching from anywhere in the world. But what does matter is weekly, as you've heard talked about before. Any less than weekly and you're just going to be forgotten. You're not going to be a part of someone's routine. So that's definitely something you have to aim for. And not only for your audience, staying relevant to them, but also for yourself. Doing weekly videos helps you build a commitment and build a habit. In my 3 years on YouTube, I have made 316 videos, and I'm quite proud of that number. But recently I did a talk to a bunch of kids on a summer camp, and I made the mistake of making them guess what this number might be before I showed them the slide. Some of them said like 700, 900, 1,000 videos. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? They're going to be really impressed with this now. But that's because a lot of their favorite YouTubers are uploading like at least 3 or 4 times a week, if not daily. So that's what I mean about weekly being the minimum, absolute minimum to stay relevant. Speaking of daily, let's talk about this guy for a sec. I'm sure you've all heard of him. If you haven't, Casey Neistat is an amazing YouTuber who makes daily vlogs of his life. Well, I think he took a break this week, but usually he does. He tells really captivating stories, and he's got a really particular filmmaking style that's fascinating to watch. And I don't know about you, but he's a part of my day. I'll watch his new video every single morning while I'm getting ready. He's actually been on YouTube for 6 whole years, but he wasn't always a vlogger. This is a look at his subscriber growth over the past 2 years, and you can kind of see here where he started his vlogs. Adding that schedule to the mix has just made his channel absolutely take off. He'd earned 500,000 subscribers before he started vlogging, and he'd done that through always having high quality videos and always telling consistently good stories. Then adding the schedule though, he's just shot up, and now instead of just telling a new story whenever he finds one, he's actively searching for one every single day. I'm afraid that just because you start daily vlogging tomorrow, you're probably not going to hit his pace. He put in that groundwork for 4.5 years before he started daily vlogging, so he had all that practice already there. But this trajectory does make sense in terms of consistency, right? So if dailies sounds like a really good thing, then why don't I do it? Why am I still doing this two videos a week thing? Well, if I tried to do daily videos, I wouldn't be able to fill this quality bubble. I work full-time, and I've got other projects on. So 2 videos a week is the max amount that I've worked out that I can do to a consistently high standard, and that's how I balance with these 3 things. If I tried to do daily, then the quality wouldn't be there. Okay, topics. Consistency in topics means consistent conversations, and conversations go a really long way for developing loyalty in your audience. So consistency here not only helps you build an audience, but it helps you build a loyal, engaged audience. And I'm sure, as we all know, a small engaged audience is so much better than a large unengaged one. Consistency in topics is going to be why people come back to you in particular and why they come back to your channel. Now, my topics haven't always been that consistent if you look at them in a list like this. When I started YouTube, I was just making videos about whatever the heck I wanted, basically. Whatever I felt like doing, whatever I saw other people doing and wanted to try for myself. But remember, I was starting YouTube just to make videos. I didn't actually have a higher goal in mind when I first started. So, that's the reason for this list. When I started to get a bit more serious with it, though, I cut it down to these 4 topics here. And this is what I did for, I think it was at least 2 years. It was fashion, design, DIY, and vlogs. Recently, though, I felt like I finally gained the confidence to go all in on the design videos. So now this is what I'm doing, design and then vlogs, showing behind the scenes of my life. I'm glad that I went through this transition through topics. A lot of you here might have blogs or Instagram accounts or whatever that you already know what topics you should be talking about, so you can probably jump in a much more refined stage than I did. But all of this has really helped build out my personality on YouTube too, people can see other things that I'm interested in, so that's been really good. And it took me a while to get over the imposter syndrome that was talked about a lot yesterday in order to make design videos and commit to that. Because that was the reason I started YouTube, was to talk about design, because there wasn't that many people doing that when I first started. So all throughout, even though there's been all these other topics in the mix, design has been a consistent. And even when I was doing style videos, for example, I'd do a video about what a graphic designer wears to work, tie design in that way. And if it was a DIY project, they're always quite arty and creative, or maybe it would involve some hand lettering. So even though they weren't specifically about design, design was woven in there. And that's helped people see me as a designer on YouTube. These are some quotes from my audience that they sent me in video messages for a recent 3 years on YouTube video I made. And it wasn't prompted or anything, just each of them seemed to talk about design and creativity and getting things done. And so I'm really glad that that's what they've picked up from my channel, despite me going through that evolution of topics. I'm really proud that they're able to come to me for advice about their design careers. It's sometimes a lot of responsibility. I get people asking me to help them choose where to go to design school. And I'm like, I only went to one, so that's all that I can really advise about. But anyway, if you pick your topic and stick with it consistently, like Kyle talked about yesterday, you will be seen as an expert on it and you'll become that go-to source for people. And I want to touch on generating ideas a little bit later on, so stay tuned for that. First, let's just talk about quality. Your videos have to be worth people's time. Remember that a 3-minute video is someone giving up 3 minutes of their life to watch it, so you have to appreciate that and respect it and make it worth it. Quality in videos isn't just about the looks, it's also mainly, I would say, about the information that goes into it, but obviously having videos that look really good helps people take information on board more easily, and it looks really good for your standards, I suppose, especially if you're using videos as content marketing for products and courses. Having good quality production value, really good quality information, giving a lot of value is going to make people want to trust you more for those other things. Now, I always put a lot of effort into the information in my videos. Right from the start, I've been trying to write good scripts and do my research, etc. But my visual quality has been slowly improving over time. This is a screenshot from my first ever video and a more recent one. And it's impossible to take a good screenshot of a video, okay? So that's why they look like that. When I started YouTube, I just filmed with the camera that I already owned from doing photography in high school. It couldn't autofocus in video mode. Also couldn't color correct in video modes. That's why it looks like that. And, white balance. Didn't do that in video mode. And then I couldn't color correct because I hadn't learned that yet. And it also couldn't have a flip out screen. So I had to do this really weird setup where I take a shot and sit down and then get up and check it. It took a long time to get set up and filming. Now though, I've been able to upgrade my equipment. It's much easier to get set up and going and film a video. There's always room for improvement, of course, but I'm glad that I didn't wait till I had the right equipment to make videos, because you can't let that be your excuse. You can't let not having the right equipment hold you back from making videos. And this brings me to this. I want you to be honest with yourself. What excuses are you making right now for not making videos consistently? Is it the tools, like I just mentioned? Do you not have the time? It's hard to fit it in along with everything else you've got going on. Maybe you're just not quite sure what to talk about and the idea generation part is becoming really difficult for you. Or maybe you're a perfectionist, as I'm sure many of you here are, and that's what's holding you back. Do any of those excuses sound familiar to anyone? Yes? No? Good. Okay. Thought so. Excuses are just your barriers though, right? Consistency requires overcoming your barriers. And they're the things that you need to push through that are blocking your path in order to get things done. And I know this because I made every single one of those excuses when I started making videos. This is a list of my barriers and what was holding me back from starting or, my channel as early as I did. And they still come back every now and then, to be honest. I'm just much better at dealing with them now. I want to go through these because I think that telling you how I've gotten past them might help you out as well if you're in a similar situation. So first off, the tools. This is probably the most common excuse I hear for people and starting a YouTube channel is that like, oh no, I'm just going to wait for this camera to arrive. I don't have this lens yet. Can't possibly film on anything less than a DSLR, But that's not really a valid reason to not be creating. I'm betting that every single one of you here has a smartphone with a camera, right? It's pretty common these days. You can film a perfectly good video on a smartphone. It might be a little bit shaky if you're like filming walking around and the sound might not be the absolute best. You can put more effort into the planning stages and get better at snappy editing to make up for that. You can't let not having your perfect ideal camera yet hold you back from creating because the sooner you start, the sooner you can get improving. All right, so let's cross that one off. I'm not letting you use that as an excuse. Perfectionism is much harder to break through and it's often the real reason behind that wrong tools excuse actually. But it is just an excuse at the end of the day. And I'm guessing a lot of you here are perfectionists, being the Sean Wes community. That's how we are. But you can't let that be your excuse. Because here's what perfectionism does for consistency. If you overfill your quality bubble and go all in and focus on that one 100% perfect, but you've then missed your upload time because you've been too busy focusing on making it perfect and you think, oh no, I'll just push it another week. Remember, consistency is a mix of all three of these bubbles. It's that balance between them all. So overfilling one doesn't automatically make up for the rest of them, I'm afraid. Sean's 90% rule can apply here. You can get your video to 90% perfect and then put it out. And it's still going to be better than most of the other content on YouTube, let's be honest. Perfectionism can also apply to your schedule. Schedules can be quite overwhelming. If you're committing to a thing, especially for years on end. You can get your schedule right 90% of the time as well, and it's still okay. It's really admirable to upload on the exact same day at the exact same time every single week. But it's okay if you don't always hit that, because it's about balance. And this here is an honest look at my exact upload days over the past 8 months. You can see that general trend of the Tuesdays and Saturdays that I mentioned earlier, but it's not always perfect. In fact, there's only 2 months where I actually hit that consistently. And September was a real mess. You can sort of tell my mental state of mind from when I actually managed to upload my YouTube videos. I was moving house in September, so that's why. Not making an excuse though. I'm perfectly okay with pushing a video upload day, pushing it to the next day or scaling back an idea if I need to, doing that another week and maybe a simpler one this week if things get in the way. Because consistency means producing regularly, right? And you can't let these little things overwhelm you and be what stops you and be a barrier for you. So all right, let's get over perfectionism. What about if you don't know what to talk about though? Which is hard because if you're going to commit to making at least weekly videos, that means you need 52 whole new videos every single year. 1 whole new video a week. I think imposter syndrome often comes into play here. You see a lot of the content that you might potentially want to talk about. Other people are already doing it on YouTube and you think, well, why should I add to that? They've been doing this for longer, they've got a better camera than me or whatever. What do I have to offer? But you do have something to offer. Your opinion and your take on the matter, your spin on it is valid and it is important. And you never know that there might be people out there who your background and your passion, your projects, they might be just what they connect with, and your teaching style might be just what they wanted to learn with and that they weren't finding somewhere else. So you don't want to deny those people learning from you, right? But what if it's not imposter syndrome? What if it's more a creative block and the ideas just aren't coming? Remember this list here of topics and how I refined them. I want to just show you how I refined these down and how that's helped my idea generation process. So when I wanted to move, let me just go back, from this long list here of topics and refine it down more. First, I did a big brainstorm of any single video idea I could come up with, anything that I felt like making, that I'd seen other people make, anything from my life. Then I looked at those videos and tried to categorize them and group them together and arrange them. And then I picked out which categories I wanted to focus on, which was the fashion, the design, and the DIY projects. Then I used those category headers to start a new brainstorm for each one. And I was surprised at how many more ideas I could come up with once I had that as a starting point. I was able to generate much more ideas, and not only more, but better quality ideas too, because I was already digging deeper. My brain had something to focus on. And now that I'm just doing design videos as well, I'm still digging deeper and going more granular. So instead of just design as this big category header to brainstorm under, I think about what videos I could make under a design chat header. So that's videos that are about like design thinking or design concepts, issues designers face. Workflow is where I can get super nerdy and talk about tech stuff and productivity hacks, that sort of thing. And tutorials is where I show how to do something using a certain piece of software. So take a broad topic, narrow it down, and pick a few different areas to focus on, and you can use them to really help you generate more ideas and generate better quality ideas. I've only been focusing on design videos for like a couple of months now, maybe like a month and a half even, but already I feel like my ideas are so much better and the videos are so much better because I have refined this process and I'm getting more granular with it. If you need a few tips for brainstorming, here's a couple of questions you can ask yourself. What skills do you have to share? Remember, just because someone else has made a video on it before doesn't mean you can't too. Recently I made a Sketch 101 tutorial. Sketch sounds funny in my accent, doesn't it, when I say that? There was plenty of them on YouTube already, but I wanted to teach the way I was taught how to use the software because it really helped me, and I figured it might help some other people as well, and it did. It went down really well. So don't worry that your topic or whatever you've got in mind has been done before. You can put your own spin on it. What little pieces of your process could be valuable to others? You can get really granular with videos and really bite-sized. They don't have to be about big topics and big concepts all the time. You can make a 2-minute video about, I don't know, a specific way you finalize an icon before you export it, or perhaps your setup to get you in the mood for writing in the morning. Little things like that are really great for drawing people in because it's a nice short video and they can watch that, then maybe watch another and another and another, and before you know it, they're sticking around for good. What do your audience want to see? When you're first starting out, you've probably not got people asking for specific video ideas yet, but you will probably find, I'm guessing a lot of you have a blog or an Instagram, Twitter, email list, whatever. People are going to be asking you questions, right, or replying to things all the time. You can turn those into videos. Basically, whenever I have someone ask me a question more than once, I'm like, I need to make a video to answer that so I can stop repeating myself and I can just send them a link to it. So that's how I get a lot of my content ideas. Ooh, there we go. Also ask yourself what videos have performed well in the past. Obviously, you need to produce a couple before you can get to this one helping you out, but you can take a look at videos that went down well, that were shared a lot, got a lot of comments, and see how you could replicate that. What went into it, what was it about that video that you could do more of. One of my most popular videos is one about my t-shirt business. People really liked hearing about that because I do it in a very DIY way. So I then made a video about my screen printing process, and then even more granular, like how I make the screens themselves, how I print multicolored designs, what's even in my screen printing toolkit. Those became individual videos that then people can sort of get on a chain and watch, which is really cool. Each idea you have, you need to run it through your goal as a filter. This is my goal on YouTube, to teach and motivate young creatives, give them an insight into life as a designer. Every idea I have, I can think, okay, does this align with this? Is this going to help this person that I have in mind? When it comes to generating ideas, I know it sounds easy for me to say being up here, I make videos all the time now, but it is a snowball. As soon as you get the first few out, it'll start rolling and you'll gather more, you'll gather feedback, and that can lead to more videos. And when you get to building an audience especially, it's so easy to know what to make because they're going to be asking you for it. They might be begging you for it. And all it takes is you arranging that and putting it into a schedule. My schedule, I have a spreadsheet that I plan the next 2 or 3 months worth of content. Like I have the 2 days a week laid out and drop in video ideas from my big brainstorm list. And then I add to that brainstorm list about maybe once a month or whenever an idea comes. And it makes it really, really easy now to keep that idea generation process going. I never have to wonder what to make because it's all planned out and I can easily just pick from a list and put it in there. So hopefully that's helped and you've got some more to say now. This last one is probably the biggest barrier, at least it was for me, having time. Especially when you're overlapping or running a business, time is very, very precious, and it's the one thing that we just absolutely can't get more of. This is not even that exaggerated, to be honest, graph of how long it takes to make a video versus the length the video ends up being. A 5-minute video can take like at least 8 hours of production time, and I'm just talking about a video, not animation, because I've been talking to a couple of motion designers this week, and obviously that takes a lot longer. But still, how do you fit like an 8-hour production time process into your week when you've already got your day job, your other projects? You've got to sleep every now and then as well, you know. This is my method. So this is my day. Work is set, sleep is set, and this is my time to get things done. But that time also has to be filled with eating, commuting, putting time into relationships, taking care of my health, doing chores, things like that. So how do you fit in that 8 hours time into your day? Well, you don't think of it as one big 8-hour chunk, you break your process up. This is what goes into my process. First is the idea, refining it, working out exactly what I'm going to talk about and honing in on it. Then there is the planning, which involves writing, it involves researching, gathering together the materials that I'll need, perhaps practicing, going through the flow if it's a tutorial. Then there's the editing, and that can actually involve, then there's the filming, and that means sitting down and planning the time that I'm going to set up my lights, etc., and sit down to film. Then there's the editing, and that involves several different steps, like I'll do a rough cut, then I'll do the color correction, the titles, the exporting. The reviewing is where I generally come back to it the next day and watch it before I upload it to make sure that everything's good and I don't need to make any changes. Then there is making the thumbnail, which is a bigger process than you might think, because a thumbnail is like a little ad for your video, right? And it's very small, or it can be bigger, so it takes a lot of effort to put into that. And then there's the uploading and the more admin type tasks, like doing the tags, filling in the description box, picking a good title, where you're going to categorize it, etc. You have to do these in order, but they can be thought of as separate individual tasks, which makes it much easier to get them done. Say this empty jar here is our time. You've probably heard this analogy before, but I'm going to use it anyway. First, you put in the rocks, and they are the immovable things, like sleep, like work, if you've got a day job, like family, and taking care of your health. There's not room to fit another big chunk of time in there that these things take up, but there is time to put in lots of little tasks. So that's why breaking your process up into small, manageable chunks works, because you can just fit them in your day whenever you possibly can. This way of working embraces the situation that I'm in, and it's helped me focus as well, because it gives me lots of small goals. I get a real kick out of ticking things off my to-do list, so I can put each little thing on my list and tick it off. It helps me move through them and helps me get things done to a high standard. You have to make these tasks part of your day. They have to become a part of your routine if you want to keep going. If this is not a thing that you're just going to do for a little bit and then stop, you can't put all your time into it. It has to be something that can fit in and that can become part of your routine. So going back to my day. Sleep is set, though you'll notice I've moved it back. I get up at 5:30 to work on some things in the morning. Work is set as well. I'm not getting out of the day job just yet. My commute is also set, but I can use this time. I live in London. I probably should have said that at the start. And I take about an hour to get to work each day. But I can use that time for writing, mostly. I actually really enjoy it because I do most of my writing on the tube, which is what we call like the subway or the metro in London. Most of the time you're underground, so there's no distractions from the internet. You don't get notifications. People often don't really have loud conversations around you as well, because it's like a thing for British people that they don't want to have loud conversations on the tube and interrupt other people. There's no distractions unless there's a dog on the tube, because then I'm going to stop and take a picture of it. I can also use my commute, the walking part, when I'm up in the internet land, to reply to comments. Usually I'd be walking down the street looking at my phone on Twitter anyway, so why don't I use that time for good, you know? I also bought this little computer here recently, and it can fit in my handbag, and I take that on the train with me and edit videos on my commute. I'm sure the other commuters think I'm very strange editing a video of my face, but it helps me get things done, you know? I've come to really enjoy my commute because of it. So maybe there's some downtime in your day, perhaps, that you could be filling with some small little tasks, you know, even if you can just fit one little piece of a task in at any point, it'll help you get things done. This is my favorite time of day, though, even though I've come to enjoy my commute. This is when I try and do all of my creative tasks, like the editing and making titles, etc. This happens in the morning when my brain is fresh and there's no other distractions around me. I wasn't always a morning person. Throughout university, I was a night owl. And if you are in that position as well and you're a night owl, I highly recommend you at least attempt to make the switch to becoming a morning person. I did it just by waking up a little bit earlier every single day to reach this 5:30 time. And I can honestly tell you that my productivity levels have increased so much by working in the morning compared to when I used to work at night. So, I mean, it's worth a try, right? What's going to hurt? In the nights now, I do the more admin style tasks, you know, the boring things that my brain power isn't really needed for, like uploading a video and writing the description and putting the tags in the video, etc. like that. So if you make use of your time in this way, getting all these things done actually seems to fit in pretty easily. You make each of these tasks the best possible use of your time in the moment that you're doing them. Now, this mapping out my process like this is actually what helped me figure out that I could do 2 videos a week. Remember at the start I said I had a 6-month break where I only did 1. And that was because I started off with a bang on YouTube. I was like, yep, 2 videos a week, we're doing this. They were 2 fully formed, like scripted videos where I'd like write a script, sit down in front of the camera and then be like, you know, reading it back or whatever. And I honestly just burnt out on it. It was too much work for me. There was just a lot to do. But looking at my process like this, I figured out that I could do vlogs. And this is a screenshot from a vlog. They're also very awkward to take a screenshot of. Vlogging is where you basically just follow yourself with a camera around your life. I just film my day pretty much and film the things that I do, chat to it every now and then. You've probably seen me vlogging at this conference. And if not, come say hi to my vlog camera later. That'll be fun. They're really easy to film because they don't involve me setting aside time to plan them, you know? I just take the camera with me as I go. And my audience loves them. They love getting a behind the scenes look at my life. So it's really a win-win. I enjoy making them and they enjoy watching them. And I've basically managed to cut out the first 3 steps in my process because of this. I don't have to set aside time for any of these things. So it makes the production process much easier. Maybe there are some ways that you could adapt the types of videos you were thinking of making to better fit your schedule. I don't know, maybe we can have a chat about it afterwards if you're interested. Because you can adapt them once you've mapped out your process and see where the inefficiencies are. Breaking up your process into small tasks like this has another benefit in that it helps you form a habit as well. If you're doing a little bit of it every single day, it will become a habit. And that's what's happened for me. Making videos is like non-negotiable for me now. I will put a video up every single weekend, no matter what. Motivation is a habit that's formed by working hard. This is what I believe. It's not something that you should wait around for it to strike, and you can't use it as an excuse, like, oh, I'm just not motivated to make a video this week, so I just won't. You're in control of it, and you're the one who needs to motivate yourself. It's like a cycle. The more you work on your projects, the more you're going to be motivated by them, because the more you're going to see them progressing. It can become a part of your routine if you let your projects be the thing that fuels you. You can't rely on outside sources like the weather or your mood. Even an accountability partner, like, you don't have control over those things. So you need to let your projects be the thing that fuel you. I know this because I notice huge dips in my productivity when there's breaks in my routine, like for travel or illness. Like, it'll probably take me a while to get back up to it when I return to London after like the 10-hour flight of how long it ever takes. But with practice and consistency, motivation can always be there for you, and your projects will always motivate you. Motivation, though, isn't one big thing. Like, yes, you have to work hard, but it's not one big thing you have to do. It's a series of little things. This is something that my mum would always say to me when I would leave the house as a teenager to go hang out with my friends with no adult supervision. I'm sure she didn't intend on me still to be thinking about this in my late 20s, about side projects and getting things done, but I do, because I believe that hustle isn't about the big achievements and like doing big things all the time. I think it's about the small good choices you make throughout your day. I think that's what separates motivated people from the rest. I could just read a book on the tube or watch a video. Instead, I choose to write. I could sleep in every morning. Instead, I choose to get up early and work on my side projects. If you do something useful every single day and show up every single day, you will achieve things and you will be consistent. So ask yourself this: what good choices can you make? How could you fit creating videos into your day? What small little tweaks and small changes can you make to do this big thing because you've broken your process down? How are you going to fill the schedule bubble? If you've never made a video before, I want to encourage you to start. Just make one, like film one at this conference, whatever. Start a video so that you can learn your process, because the sooner you learn it, the sooner you can refine it. And you're going to figure out how long it takes you to make videos, and that'll help you figure out how many you can commit to making each week. I'd suggest by starting with just one a week, and build a buffer before that as well so it doesn't overwhelm you too much. You can go up from there if you figure out that there is a way that you can fit that in, but I don't want it to overwhelm you. Mapping out your process as well can help you spot inefficiencies in it. For me, I found that every single time I was starting a video, I was opening Premiere, making a composition at the right size, I was dragging in my intro, etc. Now I've just got a file that I duplicate each time. It's got the composition set up, it's got my intro, my end card already in there. There's like a title template set up in there as well, so I'm all ready to go. It cuts out that part of the process. Same for thumbnails. I've got a Photoshop template with titles in like various colors and things that I use in my thumbnails already set up. So it makes it much easier to get things done. How are you going to fill your quality bubble? Remember that you should focus on the information that goes into your videos more so than the tools that you use to make them. Don't let that be an excuse. But if you just make a start, you can start figuring out ways that you can improve the quality of videos incrementally in little steps. Over time, you're going to learn how much you have to film as well to make a video, because I bet maybe people who have vlogs as well will have found that when you first started making them, you filmed way too much footage and it was so much to go through and it took you a much longer time because of it. Now I'm really good at filming just like a short clip, just need this, this, and this to like be a filler step before these three things. So the more you make, the more you'll improve the quality of your process as well. Oh, same with writing actually. The more videos you make and the more scripts you write, the more you'll learn like how much of a page you need to fill to equal a 3 to 5 minute video, and that's like the sweet spot for when you're starting out. How are you going to be consistent in your topics? This is probably going to be the easiest one for a lot of us here, because I know that we've all got big goals in mind and there's something that you want to work towards and something that you want to be seen as an expert in. So take that topic, which hopefully is your passion, otherwise it's going to be hard to keep up the momentum with it, and weave it into every single thing that you do on your channel. Like even in my vlogs, which aren't necessarily about design, I'm talking about design a lot, I'm talking about my job, weave it into everything and it is what you'll become known as. And remember those brainstorming categories idea that I talked about before. I think that will really help if you are struggling with generating ideas. Filling these bubbles looks different for everyone. And this balance and what consistency means will look different for everyone. For Casey Neistat, it's making daily videos filmed with a million different cameras and drones and getting all these big shots and putting them out daily. For me, it's one structured video a week where I talk about a useful topic, and one video that's more loose and casual and it's just a behind the scenes look at my life. Very different types of videos, but we are both consistent. What is consistency going to be to you? How are you going to do this? And I don't really want this to be a rhetorical question. I'm not expecting you to answer right now, but if you want to come up to me later and chat about this, I would love to talk to you about how you're planning on doing this. Remember, consistency is a choice. Or rather, it's a series of small little choices, little things you can do throughout the day in order to be consistent. You control it. If you commit to being consistent and you don't make excuses, I'm sure that you're going to see results too. And if you want to talk about this more, please feel free. Thank you.